What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reacting to Jobs tier list. This one showed up kind of like on my recommended. The creator is just me, Habibi, and I've never seen any of his videos before, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see what this tier list consists of. Now, me personally, I've only ever worked at a dishwashing place, or as a dishwasher in a country club type of place, and I did Uber Eats for 2 years. So, really the only job experience that I have. Oh, also I'd like to count, I guess, construction somewhat. I never really worked at a construction site or anything, but it was more like gigs, if that makes sense. Like with sometimes my stepdad would kind of be quote unquote hired to just fix something at a house or to, do something, and he would get paid. And if I went with him, I get a little bit of money too. So yeah, I guess you would count it as like gigs, maybe. I don't know, but I know a little thing or two about construction, I guess.
Just put the fries in the bag, bro.
Where's my drink?
I ordered the 10-piece chicken
My
nuggets.
God, what's
taking
Let me
so
guess.
long?
Is the ice cream machine broken again?
Hurry up!
It's almost done.
Jobs. You love them, you hate them. If you're a longtime fan of my channel, let's be honest, you probably don't have one. But you know what? That's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
really?
Sure, to some people, having a job is a sign of hard work, education, wealth, basic fucking dignity, but for others, it's really not like that. The reality is, not all jobs are created equal. Some
Yep.
jobs are a lot shittier than others. And
Dang.
at times, it doesn't even matter how much they pay you. If you're thinking about getting a job, it's very important to weigh out the good and the bad, which is why today, I'm gonna rank them. Teachers, responsible for single-handedly carrying the next generation of kids while being paid fucking nothing to do so. I know for
Yeah.
a fact that anyone trying to become a teacher in
I feel bad for
2024 is doing
teachers.
so strictly for the love of the game, because I don't know how the hell you even deal with all the bullshit that comes with the job nowadays. Imagine having to teach literally the most brain-rotted, ADHD generation of kids yapping about fucking gooning and ditty parties how to read, do math, or pay attention in lectures longer than 30 fucking seconds, all for like 40 grand a year. The older I get, the more I understand why Walter White was like, fuck this shit, I'm gonna cook meth, because no matter how passionate a teacher may be about teaching, the
Oh.
effort isn't rewarded at all. Like, after already being worked like a dog throughout the school year, teachers have to literally spend the summer crafting an entire blueprint on what to do the next year, completely unpaid. I didn't even know that. I thought teachers got a nice summer break paid off, like, hey champ, you earned it, go buy yourself a nice Happy Meal, see you in 2 months. But no, that just doesn't happen, because they're paid only for the school year, meaning that for the entire summer, they are doing schoolwork for the next year while unemployed, which in today's economy
That's
means
crazy.
that most teachers have to work a second job during their summer break just to survive. I remember when I was a kid, I used to see one of my teachers working at Home Depot during the summers. At the time, I was like, wow, he must be really passionate about home improvement. No, he's fucking broke! And they wonder why teachers are quitting in droves. I mean, shit, if I was a teacher, I would too, considering that ever since COVID, motherfuckers can't even read anymore, and students are disrespectful as shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro, I could not be a teacher. I honestly thought about it, honestly. When I was, in the early years of high school, I thought about being a teacher. But, yeah, no, I ain't dealing with no kids, bro. Nah, I'm good. I'm good with dealing with kids, bro. Nah, I can't. Cause, nah, I just don't have the patience for, disrespect and stuff like that. I really don't. But yeah, bro, I feel bad for teachers. My mom actually used to be a teacher when I was younger, and the cool thing was that at least in elementary school, my class was next to my mom's class, so it was kind of convenient. I could see her every day, whatever. And my teacher at the time was also good friends with my mom, so it was pretty cool. And as a son of a teacher, you kind of get certain privileges that you don't really see at the time, maybe. Certain, maybe favoritisms, because I mean, it's not like, I was class pet, or not class pet, class or teacher's pet or whatever, but I just was kind of quiet all the time and whatever, so I was really a good kid. I was a good student for the most part, so yeah, but not everybody was like that. There are bad kids out there, and I feel bad for the teachers that have to deal with that while getting paid absolutely nothing.
Kids are gonna be kids. I get that. But Jesus Christ, there's an actual incentive to be a menace in school now. From robbing school property or throwing hands with the teachers. It's getting brutal out there. What's the point of even trying to create a fun, engaging class environment when you're barely getting paid and the students are the ones bullying you?
Yeah,
I
that's
completely
true.
understand why some teachers would have mental breakdowns in the classroom because the shit they have to deal with is just ridiculous. But you might be like, Habibi, there's always gonna be kids that are disrespectful and angsty towards teachers when they're growing up. That's just how it is. And you're right, but at least back then, teachers could respond by beating the shit out of them, so this is an F. Now, if you work in
I
fast
agree,
food,
it's a
chances
F.
are that you're either a young buck trying to get some work experience or a 45-year-old wondering where it all went wrong. Because let's be honest, nobody likes working in fast food. The pay
Yeah.
is shit, it smells like shit, the customers suck, and your value as a worker literally boils down to nothing more than just putting the fries in the bag, bro.
That's funny. Yeah, that's very true. Now, again, like I said earlier, I used to work at a kitchen in like a country club place, and although it's probably not as bad as like a fast food place, it's still a food place. Like it's still, I still had to like wash the dishes. I would even have to help out in like preparing food and stuff. I would cut up onions. That's the only thing I really remember. But you know, I would do other things, obviously. And yeah, I mean, working with food, I don't know. It's just, well, again, I never really mainly worked with food. I worked with the dirty dishes, but I still think it's pretty hard, pretty difficult to, you know, do this stuff. And also have to deal with the people. So, and not only that, but you also get paid probably not that much. So I feel bad.
That's actually the very reason why customers feel empowered to treat you like shit. Because even though the job itself isn't very hard, fast food workers still gotta put up with so much bullshit mentally with these customers. You get
Yeah.
absolutely no respect. Like some random 16-year-old will get berated over the price of food they can't even control. Or God forbid they make a mistake in an order. Sound the fucking alarms. I swear to God, bro, some of these freakouts, you think the employee ran over someone's dog. But no, it's all because some fat ass only got 7 Big Macs instead of 8. I mean, I guess the one positive in all that is that the more bullshit you put up with, the more numb to it you get. Dealing with these people for God knows how long will make you thicker skin. But
Wow.
again, nobody deserves being treated like this. I feel like the phrase, the customer is always right, has given the green light to some of the biggest assholes to
Yeah.
make an already miserable minimum wage job even more miserable. And these problems get
Yeah, bro. Me personally, I don't agree with that statement. The customer's always right. No, that is not true. That is not true. Which is probably why I could never work at a fast food place because, bro, the customer is not always right. Like, it's that, bro. That phrase is so ridiculous. I don't know why that phrase has been kind of like the one thing that gives the customer kind of power and to really let them do whatever they want, or, you know, act however they want just because they're the customer. Like, there's 100 other people that come during the day. You not coming here is fine. Like, me personally, I would not care. I would not care. Because me personally, I don't tolerate disrespect to myself, so, or to others really. So if a customer comes with that type of, you know, with that type of mood, like I'm not dealing with that. I don't like dealing with those types of people. So, you know, I commend you fast food workers. I commend you and I thank you for your service. Because realistically, these fast food workers can be grimy and just spit and put God knows what in your food and, like, you know what I'm saying? Do some horrendous acts. If, you know, obviously if you're mean and stuff. So I just appreciate fast food workers, and although it may not seem super hard at what they're doing, they are going through a lot having to deal with people, which is why I stay indoors.
And even worse when you end up understaffed and have to somehow compensate for the massive fucking volume of customers during rush hour. But the one thing that can actually make this job tolerable for you are in fact your coworkers. If you happen to have chill coworkers, at
Yeah.
the very least they can slide you some drugs to get you through your shift. So I'd say it's like a D. Also, fuck Burger King.
Okay, first of all, no drugs. Don't do drugs. Kids, don't do drugs. But I can agree with that. Having other coworkers, chill coworkers, especially coworkers your age, that really helps. Now, me, when I was at the dishwashing place, when I was doing dishwashing, everybody was older than me, which Actually, in fact, I believe it was September 11th, when everybody had to go in a circle, or everybody got in a circle to kind of like, I guess, in silence commemorate those that were lost during 9/11, right? I was the only person there that was born after 9/11. I was the only one that doesn't remember anything about 9/11 because I wasn't born. Mind you, I was born in 2003, which is funny because during, like, at that time, I was the last person to say something about 9/11 because what we had to do was each person had to say, like, where were they at during 9/11? Like, do they remember 9/11 basically? So as each person is saying, oh yeah, I was here, I was in high school, I was in middle school, I was in elementary school, I was doing this, I was doing that, whatever. Every single person said something. I was the last person, and you know what I said? I said, I wasn't even born yet. Like, I just hit a freaking punchline at a comedy club. Like, and everybody started laughing and stuff. I literally was the only, I guess, young person there. Like, I was the only youngest person there. Now, granted, there were other people that were like 4 years older than me, which technically in the same age bracket, I guess. But other people in their 20s, but they were still a bit older than me. And at the time, I believe I was 19, I think, or 18. But yeah, it was pretty tough. And because, like, everybody was older, I didn't really feel, I don't know, I didn't really have the greatest time. It was a good experience, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't really have the greatest time, I guess.
Being a doctor is one of the most highly respected professions in the world. It requires an immense amount of schooling and expertise, and as a result, patients trust you with their health and well-being. Sure, you spend a whole ass decade of your life studying, developing various mental disorders, and have a ton of fucking debt to show for it, but you know what? At least I get paid good. Now, the ranking of the doctor job is kind of difficult because obviously a pediatrician is going to have an easier day-to-day than, like, a brain surgeon, so you can't really compare the two equally. So instead, I'll focus only on the one type of doctor that I would personally pursue as a career. You see, if I was a doctor, I know for a fact that I would specialize in plastic surgery. The internet and reality TV has made people hate themselves so goddamn much that being a plastic surgeon in LA or Miami is like the fucking GTA Infinite money glitch. BBLs, boob jobs, nose jobs, hair transplants, whatever the fuck this Giga Chad face trend is. Plastic surgery covers it all, okay? And be honest, it's not like people just get one surgery and call it a day. Chances are, if you think your nose is too big and you get it fixed, maybe all of a sudden you look in the mirror and your lips or your cheeks start bothering you as well. And you go in for another procedure, and another one,
yeah,
and
it's
another
crazy.
one. Oh, but this one fucked up, so now you gotta get another one to fix it. Oh, hey, can I die getting the surgery? Yeah, you can die getting the surgery. Don't care, I need a fatter ass. And it's just this constant cycle of hemorrhaging money over insecurities that, as a doctor, I would love to contribute to. So I would say a plastic surgeon is not just one of the best doctor jobs, but one of the best jobs, period. They make a fuck ton of money, their customers hate themselves, and if you practice in LA, you're basically in the Mecca, so S tier.
DoorDash?
Drivers on paper have the easiest job in the world. Bro, you just bring the food from point A to point B. Anyone complaining about that aspect of the job seriously needs to shut the
Like I said, I used to work for Uber Eats for 2 years. And
fuck up. But as far as the pay goes,
yeah,
it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah, again, the pay was not good, and I just had to drive from point A to point B, which is honestly why I started doing it, because it was just pretty easy. The thing is, doing DoorDash or Uber Eats, it's easy. It's really easy to do it, but you have to do it so much just to be able to earn so little, or like minimum is, it's kind of crazy. Like, you probably have to spend 8 hours just to be able to get like $100. Again, depending on where you are and the location and everything like that, and the tips and stuff, because sometimes people can tip you more, sometimes people can tip you less. Yeah, but it just depends. But for the most part, when I used to work for Uber Eats, my goal would be to try and get at least $100 like every time I go out, and obviously sometimes I would come short, sometimes I would make more. So it just kind of depends on your workflow.
Than DoorDash. You get like $2 for every delivery you complete, which a lot of the time is people driving extremely long
That's another thing that. Wait, what was he gonna say?
miles every day just to be paid in these fucking which a lot of the time is people driving extremely long miles every day just to be paid in these fucking pesos. Sure, you can
All right, so that's not true. The orders that are the cheaper ones are normally the shortest distance, which is why they're so cheap. But what I used to do is I would not accept or do the cheapest ones. Instead, I would wait till I get an order that is above like $7 or $8, which normally is like 20-minute drive or 15-minute drive or whatever the case is. Because one, I mean, it's more money than just, $2. Like me personally, I never wanted to do an order for just $2. No, it has to be like $7 or $8 and above. So sometimes I'd be just driving and I wouldn't really get anything, and I'd just be driving, and then I'll get an order, and it's like $8, or if it's $10. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the trick that I used, but it kind of hurts your profile in a way, because it also records like how often you accept orders, and because I didn't accept like the cheaper ones, my acceptance, I guess, rate was like pretty bad. But I still managed to get a lot of money. Hey, I was able to buy this PC that I'm currently recording on with that Uber Eats money. So yeah, I mean, it pays off, I guess, when you go for the bigger orders, which again, for the larger orders, the ones that are the more like $8 and up, they're gonna be longer drives. Now, luckily, me personally, I like to drive and I listen to music, so I'm always, jamming and stuff. So it was never an issue for me to drive far for an order. And honestly, sometimes it's good to do that because then you end up in other places and other areas that you might not normally be working in or doing Uber Eats in, and you might find a rich area. Now, just to clarify, I used to live in Florida, and this is where I would do the Uber Eats. And sometimes I would have an order, I would boom, take it to the house, and then I'd be in an area where there's a bunch of rich folk. There's a bunch of like rich houses and stuff, and I'll kind of hang around there, do orders there. Bro, I've seen quite a lot of mansions in my time of Uber Eats, and it's crazy. Now, you might think, oh, that must be really good because of the tips. No, they don't really tip you extra. They don't. They don't tip you extra. Like, although, again, you're delivering to like a rich house or whatever, they don't tip you extra. They don't. Like, they're not that generous. Even though they're super rich, they're not that generous. But yeah, what he's saying is kind of false.
grind out a bunch of orders, but depending on the area you live in, the rate at which you can even get orders varies. You could be spending like half an hour waiting for an available order, until finally, by the grace of God, Jimmy from Cleveland, 30 miles away, needs a bagel for a whopping $3. You know,
that's false. Again, like I said, because if you're driving 30 miles, if you're driving 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 40 minutes, the amount is going to be higher. The amount you're going to get paid is higher. Granted, maybe not worth it to a lot of people, but at least to me at the time when I did it, it was definitely worth it. Bro, $12? Bro, when you get a $12 order, that's like a gold mine. Like you kind of hit the jackpot there. Like anything over $10 was kind of like a jackpot. And I would do those orders. I would drive all those miles to do those orders. But the orders are like $3, $4, or like $2, are normally shorter distances.
I saw a TikTok where a dude was flexing about how he made $500 in a single day of DoorDash. Wow, doesn't that sound...
That's impressive.
sound great. Oh, wait, hold on. After he spent 16 hours on the road. It shouldn't.
Okay, now see, that's what I mean. You can spend like 8 hours driving and only make like $100. So there, it is pretty difficult. You have to enjoy driving to do Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever. You have to really like driving to really pursue it, which is what I did during the 2 years. And like what he said here, like he made over $500 in a day, but he drove 16 hours, which is pretty outrageous. The most I've ever driven in a day would probably have to be like 10 hours or something like that. And even at least with Uber Eats, I don't know about DoorDash, but with Uber Eats, there is an actual time limit of how much time you can do it during the day. And I think the max is like 16 hours or 15 hours, something like that. I don't know. There is a cap. You cannot do it for longer than a certain amount of time, because it could be damaging for you, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, the longest I've ever done was probably 10 hours. The most I've ever made in a day would probably have to be close to 200. And that's about it. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. In retrospect, it's easy to do it, but at the same time, it's like to get good money out of it, to get like what you really need, like minimum wage, it's difficult.
Take a genius to realize that when you spend more and more hours driving, you also got to factor in the cost of gas and car maintenance.
Yeah.
All when you aren't making shit. Now, of course, there's also the tip.
Now, granted, when it comes to gas, I've been very fortunate to have a car that doesn't consume a lot of gas, but my car is also very small and slow. So there are pros and cons. So I don't have to spend a lot for gas, but it's also kind of slow and it's small. So I made it work though.
Tip, which is paid by the customer and goes 100% to the dasher. But unfortunately, a shocking amount of people don't tip, or if they do, not much. Unless you do this as a side hustle and not full time, DoorDash is an F.
Well, when it comes to tipping, again, I've never done DoorDash, so it might be a little different. But with Uber Eats, the tip is already included. Normally, the tip is already included with the amount that you see when it comes up, when the order comes up, and you see that number, the tip is already included. Sometimes people will give like extra tip, which has happened to me. Just a bit on top, or they will instead tip you, instead of through the app, they tip you like with cash, which has also happened to me before. So there's that as well. And yeah, so tipping, again, DoorDash might be different, but Uber Eats, at least the tip is already included, but it's not even that much anyways.
Gotta put all that energy into something better to make money. Scamming is a high-risk, high-reward profession. If you can pull it off, you will make a lot of money. But if they catch you slipping, you're facing up to like 30 years in prison, bro.
Yeah.
So if you are gonna scam, instead of filing a job application, at least try not to commit something like bank fraud, because you saw some dipshits doing it on TikTok. Stick to the low-level scams if you want to avoid prison time. But unfortunately, a lot of these low-level scams have indeed lost their aura. Because unless you're over the age of 65, scamming is not as simple as Steve Johnson calling from Microsoft or the free iPhone you just won on 123 Movies. To anyone with any basic tech literacy, these scams are very obvious. You gotta dig deeper than that. Now, coming to you as a D-list YouTuber, it wasn't shocking to see my fellow creators shilling a bunch of crypto bullshit like cock token to their audiences. Many of these scams,
crazy.
funnily enough, came right after a pandemic that left a lot of people desperate and clinging to false hope. And with that in mind, that's exactly what you need to become an elite scammer. Personally, I think the most profitable scam that exploits desperation and false hope has gotta be catfishing. And the best part about it is that anyone can do it, it's a lot more low-key, and as long as you're not technically lying in your messages, I don't think it's a felony. Now, let me make it clear that I'm not endorsing any of these activities. The idea of pretending to be someone you're not solely to finesse people desperate for human connection out of money is evil. But at the same time, part of me has to respect the hustle. Like, really think about it. For around the same price of the latest NBA 2K game, you can start catfishing literally right now. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but there's a non-zero chance that DMing enough lonely, chronically online degenerates with a single thigh pic and a Cash App link is the only thing standing between you and generational wealth. You'd be surprised how many people out there are willing to drain their fucking bank accounts over a person they just met online. This is a serious problem, and it's your responsibility to make it worse. S tier.
That's crazy.
Now, depending on what you charge and how many clients you have, you can make a good amount of money as a therapist. Unfortunately, a crucial part of this job is having to actually listen to your clients yapping about all their stupid fucking problems for an hour. Like, bro, can you keep it to yourself? God damn!
Nah, I like listening to other people talk, and I tend to like to give my input on things and how to solve things, and really understand what the person is going through, to better understand how to solve it. Because as a guy, I feel like men, we're more logical, right? We're more logical, and we tend to want to solve things more, rather than women like to lead with emotion and be more emotional, and instead of trying to solve the issue, they just want to, I guess, express how they feel about it, about whatever situation, and not really look for a solution. They just want to talk about it, and that's it. Like, they just want to feel comforted and validated, instead of wanting to actually find the solution. And so sometimes I would try to do that, try and feel comforting, right? But also try and find a solution, because hello, you don't want to feel like that over and over again. You want to solve that solution, solve that problem, and be better, right? But yeah, I would say in the past I have been a good quote unquote therapist to anybody I'm talking to, in terms of like, just listening to somebody talk. I don't mind it. I like to stay silent anyway, so hey, I should be a therapist, shouldn't I?
Being a news reporter seems like a chill job. Yep, sure, the pay is kind of ass, but hey, you get to be on TV, and all you gotta do is read a damn teleprompter. On most days, I would say this is like a C tier. On most days. You see, for every normal day on the news spent talking about the weather or a mass shooting, there are some days where the job of a news reporter gets a little bit more interactive, like in the event of a hurricane.
That's
Apparently,
crazy.
during a hurricane, it isn't enough just to have a guy on TV repeatedly say, hey, we got a hurricane coming, evacuate to safety. No, for some reason, these motherfuckers send their news reporters directly in the line of danger. It makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah,
The headline
yeah.
would be some shit like, 100
That's
dead from
funny.
hurricanes, stay the fuck inside, and this the reporter on the TV. And from what I could find,
That's
I don't
funny.
even think they get paid extra for this shit. So like, why? Why the hell would anyone put themselves through this? It sucks ass for both the reporter and the cameraman. Best case scenario, you almost died. Worst case scenario, you die. D. Picture this. You're 18 years old, you just graduated high school, and you love computers. So you decide to go to college and study computer science. And after just 4 years of grinding your computer science education, which 90% of was Indian YouTube tutorials, you have now
Oh, wow.
graduated and are ready to become a software developer. But to your surprise, the hardest part about being a software developer isn't even the work itself. It's getting the goddamn job. Trying to get a job as a software dev for a big company like Google or Facebook is like trying to find a YouTuber who hasn't DM'd minors. It feels impossible. You gotta go through
Lol.
like 7 fucking rounds of interviews before you inevitably get rejected. And these interviews can span for months, which makes getting rejected, or at worst, ghosted after giving so much of your time and effort 7 interviews in feel like a giant waste. You know, people always wonder why software developers are so socially inept, but dude, if you spent months of your life dedicated to coding interview after coding interview after coding interview, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to answer a simple question like, tell me about yourself, because there's nothing left in you at that point. But once you actually get the job, it's like the exact opposite. You're not sweating your ass off coding a cure for cancer in under 10 minutes. More than likely, you'll be writing code and working on projects at a more relaxed pace while balancing a bunch of meetings on top of it. Obviously, some days could be a bit more stressful than others, especially the more experienced you are in the field. That's just any job, really. But to compare that with what you have to go through to get the job is night and day. The pay is great, the environment is extremely chill, and in about 6 months, you can expect to get laid off, but this is an A tier.
Bro,
Unless you have connections in the industry, becoming successful as an actor.
I kind of want to mention something about about the software engineer, whatever. I have a cousin who works in this field, and yeah, that's very true. It was very hard for him to get a job, and eventually when he did land one, he only had it for 2 weeks, and then he was laid off because I guess his skills, even though they told him that like they will teach him what they're using. What they're using, and but they ended up just firing him, which is funny. But he ended up getting another one, and he's still currently there. It's been over 6 months, so it's been going good for him.
Hey, the pay is great, the environment is extremely chill, and in about 6 months you can expect to get laid off, but this is an A tier. Unless you have connections in the industry, becoming successful as an actor is very tough. A lot of it boils down to luck, because you could spend 20 years plus doing acting gigs and never break through. But at the same time, like gambling, it could take just one opportunity to change your life forever. Like the bitch from the Progressive ads. She's been doing this shit for like a decade and makes $1 million every year. I know she definitely didn't
That's
expect
crazy.
this to go on for as long as it has, especially when she got the job, yet here she is. But yeah, most actors are broke, so give up. Retail and fast food kind of feel like two cheeks of the same ass. Still underpaid, same
That's
shitty
funny.
customers, but just a little less stressful. I will say the nice thing about retail is that you're not constantly being pressured to deliver something to a customer like you would be working in food service.
Yeah,
but even
true.
though that's the case, retail somehow ends up attracting the biggest NPCs on the planet that I honestly don't know how half of these people even function on a daily basis. It's like the second people walk through those sliding doors, their brain instantly turns into mush. For example, literally the second you walk into a grocery store, you will see a big ass dairy sign all the way in the back, sometimes even with a goddamn milk PNG slapped on it, telling you exactly where to find the milk. Yet somehow, these motherfuckers will be mindlessly roaming around searching for the fucking One Piece until eventually asking you, the employee, where it happens to be. And this
That's funny.
doesn't just happen in the dairy aisle, it happens in every fucking department. But in the same way that retail has brain dead customers, they're also the entitled ones. These are the Karens that consistently shop at the store, bitch about the price, and then expect a discount for their loyalty. But when the cashier, who's only worked there for 2 weeks, doesn't have the authority to do that, it's typical for the Karens to start arguing and threatening things like, I'm never shopping here again, or you just lost yourself a loyal customer. Retail is also a lot slower than fast food, which makes the job so goddamn boring. At least in fast food, the intense pace keeps your depressive thoughts about the job at bay. But when you work in retail, where the time goes very, very slowly, the voices only get louder, dude, which is really bad and doesn't help when right around November 1st, Mariah Carey begins her annual piercing of the eardrums for every fucking retail employee nationwide. D! Shit sucks, man.
My life is like a video game.
As a career,
Okay,
right
hold
around
on.
November 1st, Mariah Carey begins her annual piercing of the eardrums for every fucking retail employee nationwide. D!
From the screen.
This is what I want to be, and this is what I'm doing right now. Granted, I'm not really a YouTuber. I strive to be a YouTuber. Yes, I want to be this.
Shit sucks.
Okay, it doesn't suck. It just depends on what you do, and if you enjoy what you do. So me personally, I'd probably put it at a B tier or a C tier right now. So yeah. No, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, whether you like it or not.
Man.
My life is like a video.
This is what I wanted to be as well. Well, I do want to be. I still want to be a Twitch streamer. Obviously, where I'm living now, I cannot stream for the life of me. Yeah, it's either the game is glitchy and the stream is fine, or the stream is glitchy and the game is fine. I can't. So I'm waiting till me and my family move to then start streaming it again. But I have some VODs up still, like on my Twitch. I don't know if you're gonna have to go to my main channel to find my Twitch. So I mean, if you're interested, just go there, I guess. But yeah, I used to stream quite a bit in like April. I only did it for a couple months because of like internet issues and stuff like that, and I just wasn't able to really stream. So that's why I switched to YouTube.
video game.
As a career, being a Twitch streamer could be really nice in terms of money and the amount of work you do, but that's only if you're one of the top streamers. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to get a following as a small streamer on Twitch because the platform is dominated by the people with the most viewers and streaming hours, and in order to compete with that, you need to grind. Strictly from a health perspective, the grind of a full-time Twitch streamer has got to reduce your life expectancy by at least 25 years,
That's
because
right.
devouring fucking Grubhub on the daily and never leaving your house or your gaming chair is so unbelievably bad for you and linked to so many goddamn health problems. On top of that, Twitch is also a very volatile platform. You can easily get banned and lose your entire livelihood by tomorrow. Twitch will literally drop the ban hammer on people for the dumbest shit, yet for some reason, the top streamers and like a bunch of OnlyFans girls are immune from it. You are not competing on an equal playing field. You know what, just to visualize this, let's play a little game. I'm gonna give you 3 choices, and you tell me which one out of the 3 got a permanent ban on Twitch. A, nudity. B, getting fucked on stream. C, endorsing terrorism. The answer is none of them, thanks to the lovely moderators they have on Twitch. And dude, some of these streamers are repeat offenders, yet there are no fucking consequences. But hey, don't say the word simp, that's a no-no there, buddy. C. Now look, I'm not here to disparage
Military?
anyone serving the military. It's one of the most honorable things to do, and I respect their sacrifice to the country wholeheartedly. But being a soldier in the army, let alone during an active war, doesn't seem worth it to me at all.
Yeah.
For starters, they don't pay very well. So the way military pay works is you have base pay, which is guaranteed, and I'm gonna be honest, base pay is kinda shit, and stays shit for a very long time, increasing gradually based on your rank and years of service.
Wow.
Not to be selfish, but if I end up having to put my life on the line, I'm not doing it for minimum wage, bro. But in addition to that, there are a bunch of other non-guaranteed add-ons to the paycheck depending on your circumstance. Like, say if wherever they have you stationed doesn't have you living in the military trenches, you'll be provided with additional money to pay for your rent and food, which I think is really nice. And you also get a fuck ton of benefits as well. I honestly feel like it's the military's PR that pisses me off more than anything, not even the job itself, because they spend so much money on these annoying fucking recruiters to show up everywhere. I've gotten like hundreds of army recruitment texts when I was a student, and I can't tell you how many times they would pop into my school trying to groom the 1.2 GPA motherfucker into enlisting. They would straight up say shit like, you can get this amount of money, or buy this new car, just the lowest hanging fruit. If you really need to get people in the army, go after the people that make little Dark Age World War II edits on TikTok. Leave me the fuck alone. But yeah, besides that,
That's
military
funny.
is a B. So yeah, that's the list. Obviously, there are a lot more jobs I could talk about than the ones I listed here, but then the video would be too damn long. But on that note, what is your dream job? Leave a comment.
My dream job is the one that I'm doing right now. Well, I guess this hobby would be my dream job. Now, I don't want to call it a dream job because it's not a dream, it's a goal. So, I think this will be, I want to make this hobby into a career. So, yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. And streaming and YouTube.
I'm curious to know what all of you aspire to be in the future. Maybe one day you'll be putting the fries in my bed.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's the job tier list. Shout out to just me, Habibi, for this beautiful tier list. Again, like I said, my dream job would be being a YouTuber, streamer. My goal would be to be a streamer, YouTuber, because I don't really have any other options, do I? Because there's no way I have passion for anything else at this point. I love creating. I love putting my ideas out there. I love having my opinions out there. And I love just, interacting with people online and not having to commit to a friendship, because that is pretty difficult for me. But yeah, hopefully my goal to become a YouTuber / streamer will come to fruition. So we'll see. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.